Fine. How about yourself?
Yeah, a little jet lag, but otherwise everything's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you're back at home now.
Yeah.
Are you okay to speak?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I was just. I don't know if you've seen the email. We received an email.
We don't have any email, TV, or phone here. They were doing construction on Fond du Lac Avenue, and a backhoe cut. When he dug into the ground, he busted a 12-inch line of wires that supplied the whole northwest side of Milwaukee with internet, and so we've been down for 3 days with no emails or cell phone or telephone or TV set.
But we received some papers by email. Obviously, I know that they're fiction, but we can also gauge what they're thinking, what they're doing by reading them.
It's the last page, the last two.
And if I read these out, will you give us what you think of it, David?
Yeah.
So, it says, he has been removed from the care of his parents because there were reasonable grounds for believing he was likely to suffer significant harm. It is important to stress, however, that no court has made any findings on those local authority allegations. So that was said. It then says, I implore these parents to think again, to put their baby's interests first, and come back and cooperate, so that the court can make the right decision about S. There is a very real danger that by continuing with their current internet campaign, they will only achieve the very thing they profess to be trying to avoid, permanent separation from their son. I'll just continue 2 more paragraphs and now that's it, David, okay? Children should, wherever possible, be brought up by their parents. They should only be separated from their parents when their welfare requires it. They should only be placed for adoption as a last resort when nothing else will do. I note, however, that there is the possibility of a placement of the child with the maternal grandparents in Portugal. It is of course entirely a matter for Judge Black, but I can foresee circumstances in which she thinks it would be appropriate to transfer the case, given the particular international dimension.
And this is Justice Baker.
So that was in an email, David. What we're trying to interpret where it seems like they are. How did you say, Yolanda?
Justice Baker is cleaning the hands and putting into black.
Trying to wash the hands of it.
And guiding her.
What do you make of that?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you hear any of that? I just read to you.
I heard all of it.
Oh, great. Okay.
I said the court's being sanctioned by other countries for human trafficking, and it's causing them a big embarrassment because they're trying to block you from selling MMS, and the whole thing backfired on them. So keep up the pressure with them. And if they transfer jurisdiction to Portugal to her mom and dad, once you get the child away from the British bullshit, then you can go ahead and just have your parents give the baby back to you.
Yes.
So they are starting to run away.
So Yolanda's saying that they're trying to run away from it now. Is that what?
Because as I told you, the international pressure for human trafficking is a really, really big deal. Because when I was over in Germany studying German law was predicated on human trafficking because of the World War II genocide against the Jews for human trafficking.
Mm.
And so this is a big embarrassment for them. If they can take children away from their parents and sell them off on the black market, what does that say about the British government? And you just keep up that pressure and do that, saying that the British government's involved with human trafficking for profit, because they don't have any assets of their own. So now they're going to get into the black market of human trafficking, and put it that way. And that'll just, because any other parents coming forward where they've had their children taken away from them, that's gonna, and these people stand up with you to show them that they are practicing human trafficking for profit. That's gonna really get the international courts against them immediately and say, give the kid back.
Yes.
That's how I got my kids back.
So, David, is your understanding as well that they are changing already? They are already giving the baby back with writing these.
Yeah, they're trying to put a Band-Aid on it and say we haven't done anything wrong, but you just keep up the pressure against them. You'll bring back the baby with sanctions. Because they're getting sanctions put against them for human trafficking.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you, David. Wow, that's brilliant.
And
That's brilliant.
I'll give you all the exposure I can throw at it, because I got a lot of big things going on over here. And when I was over in Germany the last 3 days, I studied a lot of German law, and the German law is very. It says nothing. It's all adverb verb. It's worse than the English law. They wanted to make sure that the Nazi Party never had that the people never learned the fact to rise up again, so they could always disqualify them, so they can't read and write.
Yes.
That's the volition behind the way they're conducting the courts over there. The courts are horrible. From what I've been reading, all the mistakes that they're making.
Well, thank you, David. I think we interpreted it in a similar way to you. As we read that, we thought, wow, this is saying they appear to be running away from it. It seems.
But
so yeah, we're quite happy with that, David. That's brilliant.
But he still says that if you carry on with the campaign on the internet, that they might lose the kids. So what does he really mean with this? Is he guiding the Judge Black?
They'll bring their child back, because the internet business is 40% of all business in the world is conducted on the internet. And if the people on the internet, every single mother and father that's had their child treated the same way, and had, where they took them away, they're looking for sanctions against these people, and the hackers are going to go after these people and destroy their business.
Yes.
So if the community of the hackers get at this thing and start chopping up their, doing cyber attacks against them on a full-time basis, it could seriously damage the whole culture of how the British government does business.
Cool.
Wow,
and just because these hackers have the power and the technology to bust into their back doors of their government, their money servers, their business servers, and disrupt everything until the baby comes back.
Yeah.
So, when you take away the Crown's money, it's costing them billions of dollars. They try to protect the doctors by by taking a bribe for the doctors, only to go ahead and shoot themselves in the foot and lose the country because of stealing children.
Yes.
So that'll make them think twice about what they, how they're going to hurt you.
Do you want to ask David about the prison? Your mic, that
What's
we're
that?
not sure about it. What
What are you talking?
David, last time I understood that was dangerous for us to go to England if we would step out of the airport. And then Leonardo said that was not what you said. That was my fears that were understanding that way.
Yeah, well, the minute they get you back in their clutches and that, they'll make you disappear.
So what she's getting at. We're repeating now. Do you think it's safe to go back to England?
Do I think it's safe?
Yes.
Well, you don't have a voice in England.
No, that's why we're
If they're willing to steal your child, they'll steal your life and bury you in a hole, just the same way to shut you up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then report that you've given up the child for adoption or whatever, and then when nobody hears back from that, while you're sitting in a jail cell, because they're trying to make you disappear.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Yep.
Thank you.
I mean, don't put it. If they're willing to steal children to protect their criminal organization, they're willing to do anything.
Yes. Okay.
So just be careful.
Yes.
Yeah. But the airport is a safe place.
Yeah, we can be in an airport as long as we don't go outside the airport.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you, David. That's good.
And there was something else, David. Sorry, we did go to a registrar place to try to get the passport for the baby, and in Portugal they only do ID, not passport. And the woman, they are used to get registration for baby, so she wanted me to register the baby, and I was asking her just to do the ID with the Live Life claimant, but at the end we didn't get anything done.
David, I'll explain. We went to the office. Yolanda wanted an ID card for the baby, which is what they use in Europe. They wouldn't give an ID card because she didn't have a birth certificate, and they also wouldn't give a passport because she didn't have a birth certificate, and they didn't recognise the Live Life claim in the office. But what I say is that if we post it to the office for the passport, they will accept it. That's how I see it. Is that correct?
You can try it. I mean, you don't got nothing to lose.
Okay, because
the only solution is just try with the English, but they would not give any passport to the baby. So
we haven't tried England yet, have we? We haven't tried England, so that's
we
not true.
We have seen on the papers that if the baby is with social workers, they do not provide passports.
That's not what it says.
So I don't know how to get it.
It's not what it says.
Well, in social services, the baby's in limbo because they want to. They can't move. They can't move into a passport position because of human trafficking. Laws prevent that.
So can you get?
It's all about human trafficking, is what we're talking about here.
Yes.
Moving people across international borders because the government or that the people want to change, and look at the influx of people coming in from Africa, no passports, no ID, and now they turned around because they had nothing. We're burglarizing the homes of people. When Germany opened their doors up, people are getting mugged and getting robbed, and so they shut that all down now, so people can't come in because they were importing thieves and murderers and criminal elements.
Yes. So with our baby and getting him a passport, am I hearing we're going to have to sort of wait until it's sorted out with them giving our baby back? Is that how I should?
That's probably what they're going to do, is wait until you've got your child back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But that isn't going to change the fact that they, what they're doing as far as human trafficking babies.
That's it. Yes.
So, because you haven't done anything wrong for them to just walk into your house or walk into a hospital and take a baby out of the nursery. That would outrage any mother anywhere, or mother and father anywhere in the world, because they're buying and selling babies. And then if you go ahead and you make the argument and put it out there on the internet about how they're milking children for this, the essence of youth to give it to senior citizens for longer life because they've got enough money to buy this child's blood like vampires.
What's the name of the enzyme?
Yeah, the enzyme that's in the baby's blood that makes a child grow so fast.
Do you know the name of that enzyme?
I used to know it. I forgot it. It's been a long time since I've discussed this with anybody.
Yes. Well, I saw it.
The movie Jupiter Ascending is the whole movie is predicated on that enzyme that they're harvesting children to the tune of almost 900,000 a year out of the nurseries, and then milking them for this because there's nobody looking for these children. They don't have any identity because they don't have a birth certificate. And then what they do is they lock up the parents on drug charges that they fabricate out of thin air. So the parents are out of the way, so they have a clear shot at running this business and then enslaving the parents in prison while they go ahead and they keep their business alive. It's pretty gruesome. I mean, this is like a vampire movie.
It is,
but
yes.
in reality, it really is.
It is.
Do they use all the blood of the children, or they just took portions of the children? How do they do that?
They milk probably an ounce a month, but you have to have a specific blood type that they go after.
Okay.
Depending on which millionaire and what his blood type is to get that enzyme.
Yes. That the Jupiter Ascending it's very got a lot of facts in it, obviously written in sci-fi, but like contracts and harvesting the people, it's all in there, isn't it? The language they use.
Yes.
It's very revealing film. It's very good.
And that's what you can charge them with, you know, and play that up on the internet.
Yes.
And people will listen and pay attention because if you do the medical research on it, you're going to find out that it's a very valid science. It's very ghoulish.
Yes.
But it's people are doing it. It's the secret to immortality, technically.
So,
and people with enough money will pay anything to get their, and they don't care who they hurt or who they kill or what they do. They just want that you know, they want that
enzyme.
It's
eternal youth. For eternal youth, is that how I'm trying to get some?
Yeah.
I'm getting some terms to use for searching on the internet.
You're not going to find anything published on the internet. This is a very top secret science.
Yes. Well, it's in the film, so they've put it in the film, haven't they? So,
right. They put it into a sci-fi.
Yes.
So people aren't looking at a direct attack, and so that if anybody does discover it, that it would just be you're just copying that off the movie, but
yes.
It's not. It's a reality that they're doing and have been doing for a very long time. Because if you look at the history of human trafficking and how it has been accelerated with science, you know, there's more and more and more people disappearing through the science, and that's because they have the technology to make people disappear now.
Yes.
Through this harvesting program, because the population of the planet is coming close to its saturation point. So removing a certain number of people every year, it's just part of the grand scheme of promising one family immortality. There's another movie called The Colony.
The Colony.
People that are rich enough can go out there and have their DNA grow, have a clone grown. And because these people are dying of specific diseases, but they're billionaires. So now they go ahead and they take these people and they educate them, let them go to school and everything to think they're moving up in the world. When they graduate, and then they get to go to the island and get their freedom, and what happens is they take them into a room and they put them to sleep and then harvest their organs. Or if a woman wanted a baby, then her clone would have the baby, and then they would kill her, and then
Yes. Yeah.
the whole thing. One of the clones gets out and finds out what the real world is, and comes back to destroy the facility, and everybody learns that what they were being raised for as clones to be harvested. And then the clones rebel against the criminal element.
The masses, though, David, when they see this stuff, the masses, they live in. They would just look at it as fiction, though, won't they? It's just sci-fi. I'm generalising. A lot of people will just see it as the surface. They don't see deeper. Do you know what I mean? They
look at it as sci-fi and are not really paying attention to how the ghouls are running running these multi-billion-dollar operations, because people with money are financing these things so that they can live forever in their luxury.
Yes.
And politicians make sure it's covered up. Military personnel are assigned for security.
Yes.
It's just like, my son went overseas and he wasn't involved with it, but the U.S. military is over in Afghanistan protecting the heroin trade.
Yes, the opium.
And the CIA is importing the heroin for profit so that they can run all their black ops organizations.
Yep.
I don't think the United States is out there all sparkly clean with.
Oh no.
The good kid on the block out there. No, it's like they're out just harvesting people.
The Americans were using microwave sound weapons on the Iraqi population. They were sending in microwave high frequency sounds and driving people insane in villages and cities.
That's been going on since the Cold War years. Since the 60s.
Mm. Oh, I didn't know it went that far back. Yes.
Yes, very old technology. The United States Embassy in Moscow was being bombarded by microwaves. And they were cooking the ambassadors over there.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Get them out of the country. So they didn't have anybody in country that was watching them.
Yep.
It was too risky and too convenient. So you just got to be able to see the secret information here and how they're advertising it. And I was reading from the book of Genesis about how the illusion of fiction is used to control the masses. And she was just totally blown away by it.
Wow. Oh, I've never read the Bible, so...
David, the guy that in Portugal TV has the lawyer that has spoken about forced adoption and was really saying that all of this is a business in UK. We have sent him the suit that you have done it, and I have asked him what are his thoughts about it. And me and Leonardo, we have been feeling that he's like running away, like does not want really to say anything at all or compromise or whatever. What do you think?
Well, when I was over in Europe, over in Germany, I met with a lawyer over there, not a barrister, but a lawyer. And he started in on me about, you never won a case anywhere. I'm going like, I've won 12,000 cases. I says, but I am such a devastation to your world of fiction. And I showed him his own paperwork. I says, this is completely criminal what you've done here. And you've taken advantage of your friend, and you're harvesting him. And I've exposed the lies that you told, and he got so upset he just got up and walked out of the middle of the meeting. And I looked at my friend, and I says, "If this guy's your friend," I says, "I hate to see what your enemies are acting like."
Yeah.
I said, "I've got 60 pages here of a signed confession for criminal activity
Okay.
on this guy," and he just couldn't handle it. I mean, he totally lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. He's looked at the papers and he knows what it means, and he's running away from me. He don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he don't.
Well, he knows if his name is dropped as being part of the. If you're not going to fight for the parents, and you're not part of the solution, then you've got to be part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to have his name placed on the anywhere near the problem.
Yeah.
So he's trying to remove himself from harm's way of being named as a co-conspirator in what they're doing.
David, he did try. He was trying to build trust with Yolanda, so I knew it. I said to her, he's trying to get you to instruct her, to get his.
And after amazingly, I don't know how you did that, David. You said, "Don't go with that lawyer. That lawyer is going to, is not going to bring your baby."
Right. They're going to make sure that you disappear on some. You're going to walk into a courtroom. They're going to just say you're in contempt and send you to jail, and all of a sudden you disappear into the woodwork and you're never heard from again.
But how did you knew it? I was speaking with a lawyer.
Well, because all lawyers are liars. I've never seen they take a blood oath that if they ever talk about their criminal activity, that their own organization would off them.
Yeah, what's the state? It's no fact or law will be tried in court.
Right.
Yeah, but the question is, David, how did you know that was in contact with a lawyer? Was your instinct?
You have to remind him, because what happened?
He said maybe he was looking at the position that 99% of the people will go hire a lawyer because the court told them to and play the game. But you don't win by playing that game. You only disappear into the woodwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said to him, I will not be. I said we will not be instructing any solicitors ever again.
Yeah.
He got the message, so I think after now he's seen the papers, he's running away because he is part of the problem, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Well,
Dave.
I've been real straight with you. I mean, I put it up there. When it comes to, you asked me a question about how crooked the crooks are, I'll tell you how crooked the crooks are. And I'll prove it to you, frontwards and backwards.
Well, we know the words. I mean, it's amazing what you've done. It's just simply the words. Everything else, all the other corruption, cannot hide anymore.
Right, there's no place to hide. I mean, it's black and white how much corruption what they're doing.
But now they're even hiding in the very words, aren't they? The corrupted words.
Even the Bible is written and corrupted the same way. Mm-hmm. And when you can read, like I had my mom and dad, my mom today, and I was reading to her about how corrupt the Bible was, and what it was saying was not what she was hearing. Mm. So when I syntaxed it, I could explain to her exactly what it is. It's just like when I was over in Germany, I can't speak German, I can't read German, I don't understand what the words are in the phrases, but I can syntax the shit out of German. And I did 60 pages in 3 days. And once I had about 60 of the prepositions all written down and what their variables are, I just blew through that 60 pages of documents and wrote the lawsuit and had it all finished within my parameters.
Wow.
Before I came back to the States here.
Wow.
And I told the guy, I says, he's been fighting a fight for many years and he couldn't do anything. And I went ahead and I went after it. And I got it done 1, 2, 3. So
coming back to the Bible, from listening to what you're saying, is it a teaching book? Is it trying to tell you what's really going on?
It's a story of life.
Yeah.
But it's a story written in adverb verb.
Yes.
In fiction. And so people, what they did is they corrupted the Bible by writing it in adverb verb. So when people saw the law written in adverb verb, they said, well, it's good enough for my faith. It must be good enough for the law.
Yeah.
But then when I exposed everything, then it became a different story.
Has it got value? Has it got any value now that you syntax?
Well, that syntax, yes, it's got a lot of value.
It's what's hidden has got the value, is it? Is that what you mean?
Does what?
Is it what you've revealed? What was hidden is what's valuable? Is that?
Yeah, I don't. There's no limit to what my technology will open up. And people ask me questions about what I'm doing, and I can always certify to them frontwards and backwards my program. You can't do that in the world of fiction. That's what gives me a certain amount of power into what I do.
Yes.
So, and even the guy that I was working with over in Germany looked at me and he says, if you can't read, write, and understand anything here, how can you do this? I said, well, I did it real easy. And when he saw the technology, when he saw me, and he says, well, I got to have my lawyer look at what you're doing here. And his lawyer got so upset because he couldn't make an argument I couldn't defeat. I says, 50 federal judges couldn't defeat me. You're just a barrister who just practices your fiction. I says, you can put anything on paper and I'll tell you what it says, why you said it, and where it's connected in the world of history.
Wow.
Yeah. And after I got done with him, he just walked away, or ran away, I should say. So
how is you get the volition of someone's the volition, the thinking of the thinking. Is that coming? Right. Is that coming from your mind, or is that coming? How did you?
No. Everything I do is mathematics. In other words, if you make a mistake in a math problem, you do it backwards and you find out where you made your mistake, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, same thing is true with the writing. Now that I broke the math interface on mathematics and grammar, and it doesn't matter what language it is, I can prove it frontwards and backwards that it was corrupt when they wrote it, and it's corrupt no matter which way you use it. Because it's all been modified, it says nothing.
Yes. Okay. Wow.
It's all good fun.
Yes.
That's my answer to everything. It's all good fun.
Yeah.
You see, when some people they make a mistake or they get hurt, and they say, "Oh, this is bad luck," or this is my world's falling apart. And I'm going, no, it's not. It says, I look at everything, even a failure. When Thomas Edison developed a light bulb, and he made 1,000 light bulbs that didn't work, and they said, "See, you failed 1,000 times." He says, "No, I didn't." He says, "I was successful in proving that you can't do that to make a light bulb in that matter." So he took the negativity of the thinking, turned it around positive. He says, "Now we know what not to do." It's like walking through a minefield in war. If you don't know where the mines are, you're going to make a mistake and kill yourself. But if you know where the mistakes are, you can be successful in walking through the minefield. So that's the long and the short of it. Everything in life is a learning experience for one reason or another.
Yeah.
You may think there's something bad going on, but the fact is there's events that are going to take place in your future that are going to affect you very seriously. And if you're not using the correct information, you're going to get hurt. Now, the first time you make a mistake, it may be something really small, just a few $100s. If you don't learn your lesson, the next mistake might be $100,000.
Yes.
When I start doing stock market trades, if I had $10,000 and I made a mistake and I lost it. But a couple days later, there was another. In other words, if I would have not made that mistake and lost that $10,000, a couple days later, I was going to buy another stock because it was on my list of stocks to buy. And if I would have won, see, I had invested $10,000 and I had won $250,000. And I took that $250,000 and I bought a stock. It took me 5 days. I took $10,000, made $250,000. And on the fifth day, I lost $250,000 in 10 minutes. If I had not lost that $250,000 in 10 minutes, the very next trade I was going to margin at 4-1 with $1 million,
Mm-hmm.
and that stock filed bankruptcy, and I would not have lost $10,000. I would have lost $1 million.
Mm.
That would have destroyed me because I could have never recovered from that, not my entire life. So they took away the little bit of money I had so I wouldn't make a big mistake the next day. And when I looked at my conduct, I learned my lesson and I never did it again that way. And I diversified myself. And yeah, I had my good days and my bad days, but I always kept moving forward.
Yes.
So don't be so hard on yourself because there's a mistake. And I know it's a bad thing that your child's been taken away, but the Crown's been taking away hundreds of thousands of children, and they've been getting away with it by having lawyers hired and then silencing the parents because the island is overpopulated. And the rich want to go ahead and harvest the poor people, and they want an excuse in some capacity. But now they've been exposed, and because you called me, I'm the only guy on planet Earth that's got quantum. And you got a hold of me, now quantum is being used to go after the courts for the criminal activity.
Yes.
To put a stop to this, because it's wrong, and it's hurting a lot of people.
Yeah, we have said we will never be silenced. We will never shut up. They will never silence us. Never.
I would even send letters to the Vatican because the Crown works for the Vatican. There were over 2,000 priests that were having sex with children, and they were getting away with it for hundreds of years until it was exposed on the internet. And thousands and thousands of children came forward, and over 2,000 priests were arrested for sex and sent to jail for life.
Yep.
But the church was covering it up.
David, we have sent the suit to the Vatican, to the Pope.
Yeah, and I'm a keymaster with the Pope. And if one minute you tell them that I'm a keymaster, they're going to go looking at the grammar. Well, they might even figure that out right away. And the Pope makes a phone call about human trafficking publicly and tells the Queen, you're guilty of human trafficking, give these people their children back, and you got your children back immediately.
Yep.
Because they don't want to have another incident like they did with the sex that the priests were having with small children, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Good. We've
a lot of sick people running around out there.
yes.
David, when we sent the suit to The Hague, there were two addresses, so we actually sent to both International Criminal Court and International Court of Justice. So
Right. There's the International Criminal Court. Roe and I set that up about in 2005. I was responsible for the setting up the International Criminal Court.
Wow. So we've sent your as soon as it goes in, they're going to be like, oh look.
Yeah, I mean, I disqualified over 180 judges worldwide in all these different languages because I could syntax all these different languages as the people not knowing what to do.
I just had a vision of your papers as it arrives at the International Criminal Court. I could see like the papers. A wide door opening and everyone handing the papers and it having its own.
Yeah, they go out. They're pretty quick. They'll take me and put me at the top of the list because they don't. I'm the only guy that writes correct grammar to the Hague, and they have to learn how to be correct, and they need as many examples as possible.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, so we sent to the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice. So they appear to be in this.
They're the ones that made a phone call already for you.
Pardon?
Maybe they're the ones that made a phone call for you already. That they immediately sent you this email.
Mm. Yeah, they tried to get us to contract, tried to get us to go to court, tried to do something to keep their thing going, isn't it?
The court's the foreign vessel. You're leaving planet Earth, going onto a spaceship that's in dry dock harvesting humans, just like a Jupiter ascending.
Yes.
And so by staying out of the courts and going public with this is your best chance of getting your child back.
David, there was on a debate about the forced adoption, there was a pediatrician, and she was saying that the baby Santiago would have damage for
emotional damage for the rest of his life, long-term damage because he was.
They're the ones that took the baby away from you. They're the ones that are initiating the emotional damage.
Yes, but my question is, do you really think that the baby will suffer any damage from what they are doing now?
Most children that are adopted go through a lot of emotional problems.
When they're adopted, yes.
Yeah, because they're going, what's wrong with me? Why didn't my parents want me?
Yes.
Yes.
And they all ask the same questions. But you just keep up the pressure. And
I think what Yolanda's getting at is he will recover from this. When we get him back, he will.
He isn't the funny thing. He's only a couple months old.
Yeah, he's 3 months old. So
Okay.
long-term future damage, I don't see any.
No, there won't be anything. You know, my granddaughter's been bounced back and forth between the mother and the father and the grandparents in a legal battle.
Oh, yes.
And she's doing fine now because she knows her grandpa loves her and gives her everything she wants. And
Cool.
he also knows the political issues. And then when the question was asked, how many children in her school come from broken homes or are involved with the parents fighting? And it's 70% of all the kids in the school. You got 1,200 kids going to her school, and there's 800 of them that are from broken homes.
Wow.
So the kids compare notes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about future
Thank you.
problems. Yeah.
Just take care of, keeping the pressure up and keep sending letters out to the respected bosses. And if anybody has to talk to me in that, I'll make sure,
Yep.
things get exposed. I'm exposing the insurance fraud right now. And, when I exposed the mortgage fraud, there's now 30 million homes in the United States in foreclosure.
Yes.
So, all right. I'm going to let you guys go.
All right, Dave. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
David.
That's a nice and
Okay.
It's
enjoyable
always a
conversation.
pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Fortunately, Skype still works and we can talk on Skype.
Yeah.
But my phone won't work because everything is down with the telephone too.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, David. Oh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning here, so we're off to bed now. It's been great to speak to you, David. So thank you very much. Bye, David.
Okay, bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Howie has internet.
That was really cool conversation, wasn't it?
Yeah. Howie has